So we've had the Las Vegas Grand Prix in the City of Entertainment, and actually that race really did deliver, didn't it? It was action-packed throughout the race. Let's go through and pick out some of the key points first. The start was crucial, wasn't he? Max Verstappen got a great start, but then did run Charles Leclerc wide, both off the track, and he got a 5-second penalty for that one. I'm going to say that's not probably the right thing they should have done, potentially, and it looked like, as we've seen before, that Max would run off at that point. He had already a 2.5 second lead over Leclerc by the time they gave that penalty, and it looked like, well, that's kind of pointless that. He should have just been forced to give the place back. Leclerc was right behind. We've seen them say, look, you need to give that place back before. Why that didn't happen on this occasion is really, really strange. But a 5-second penalty it was to be, and yeah, it wasn't straightforward for Max from there, was it? Fernando Alonso found out how slippery and cold it would be down into turn 1, didn't he? Just spun all out on his own. We've seen a lot of drivers have moments there. That spun really cost Valtteri Bottas, and he was a great start for him. He was starting in P8, and then that dropped him down massively. We got a virtual safety car while they picked up some of that debris, and yeah, there was a lot of cars just all over the place. When the two McLaren started really well, because of that they moved up to 12th and 13th places. Lewis Hamilton had a bad start, he got caught up in a little bit, that dropped down to 14th. Carlos Sainz really struggling spin, he was back in P18. So yeah, it was a lot of action, you know, cars going left, right, everywhere at that slippery start. And then in the restart, Max Verstappen got the jump, and off he went. And then Lando Norris had a strange crash, didn't he? Just seems to lose the rear. Big crash. He's gone to the hospital after that one. Wish him well. He did say he was okay, so it just says precautionary checks at the hospital for him. Hopefully he'll be fine and ready to race in Abu Dhabi next weekend. But yeah, lap 3, and that was a safety car then. Bunched up the pack, and then yeah, off Max Verstappen went again, but Charles Leclerc hung on, didn't he? That car was really, really good on its medium tyres, much better than the Red Bull actually, and it was, you know, the advantage Ferrari at that point. Charles Leclerc closing back up on Max Verstappen really quickly, got the lead on lap 15 before Max Verstappen he pit straight away. And then it was advantage Ferrari, and Charles Leclerc at that point, really, he extended his lead, and the run on the medium tyres did Charles Leclerc, and that meant he would have had fresher, harder tyres, and it was looking about 7 or 8 laps potentially that he would have had fresher tyres on Max Verstappen, and it looked comfortable potentially for Ferrari. Max Verstappen obviously serving that 5-second penalty came out 9th, but the early stoppers like Sergio, Perez, Stroll, Russell, it really paid well for them, didn't they? They stopped under the lap 1 virtual safety car, some of them under the lap 4 safety car, the virtual safety car initially, some of them, and then under the safety car for full safety car for Lando Norris' incident. And those that did really made big inroads, didn't they? Moving right up to the front when everyone pitted, and it was that kind of the right strategy and call to make at that point. Strangely enough, it's one that I think Yuki Tsunoda didn't pit, even though he was on the softs, and yeah, strange call from them there on that one. But yeah, there we go, and off they went again, and it was just action packed throughout, wasn't it? And then we got that second safety car after Lando, Max Verstappen and George Russell got together. Russell didn't see Max Verstappen, it was pretty much his fault. He got a 5-second penalty, did George Russell, for that. I thought that was a bit harsh, just considering the way that corner is and where he turned down. Yes, he caused the collision, I suppose, but looked more like a racing incident to me than when we've seen them happen before and nothing being given. So yeah, a bit unlucky for George Russell, that one, but he held his hand up, and that really helped Sergio Perez at that time. He was on the older tyres to the Ferrari. He quickly went into the pits on that second stop, and had Verstappen and Russell not collided, I'm not sure Verstappen would have pitted under that second safety car. There's potential he would have done that, but that collision with Russell just kind of meant that they'll definitely go in to take that stop, even though they didn't really change the front wing at that time or the damage. But you got fresher tyres with Verstappen and Perez, and that really helped in that battle with Charles Leclerc, who had all the advantages at that point with fresher tyres on that car, looking really, really good. But once them fresher tyres went onto that Red Bull, and they were quick anyway on the hard tyres, it really, really suited them. Ferraris were good, but not as strong as they were on the mediums in comparison to the others. And yeah, Verstappen down in third, he passed Perez, then made his way past Leclerc. Leclerc held on, didn't he, for that? He was still in the DRS zone for a fair bit at that time. Perez then made the pass on Leclerc. Leclerc running deep at that point, and then what a fantastic last lap pass by Charles Leclerc on the inside. I'm surprised Perez didn't defend that more, to be honest with you. He did close that inside off. There was no way Charles would have made it around the outside there, the way that, you know, that turn 14 narrows from there. So yeah, bit of an odd one from Perez. He lost that position again 2 weeks in a row, last lap racing for him. But yeah, what a move from Perez, from Leclerc. A fantastic and well-deserved P2. It did look like he'd be on for the win, to be honest with you, had not been for that second safety car. But yeah, it was just a great race, isn't it, with action all the way throughout that field, and we've got some real heroes. So let's get to the 3 good and the 3 bad. The 3 good, yeah, it's going to start with Charles Leclerc. Great racing, nicked that P2 in the end. He was got past Max Verstappen as well for the lead on lap 15. That really, second safety car really did cost him in the end, but he was so good sticking with the Red Bulls, and even Perez, when he made his way past into second, caught him back up, made that crucial pass for a fantastic second place for him this weekend. Next up on that is Esteban Ocon. What a result from him. He was from P16 to P4. That Alpine, most people would have said, would really struggle here in Vegas. Top speed is not their forte of that car at all, but to come off with this result is absolutely brilliant. You know, we all know that car is down on engine power. Yeah, fantastic result from him. The third up on that is Lance Stroll, and equally from P19 to a P5 finish. Really, really brilliant result from him. He started on the softs. Lap 4 safety car really played well for him. He went on to the hards and then hards again, and it really, really worked out. Brilliant job from him, Lance Stroll. Fantastic. And I got a shout out to Perez as well, to be fair with you. You know, it's a shame it wasn't P2 in the end, but he was last with the front wing change on lap 1 after getting caught up with Alonso and Bottas. And to come back, he was leading at one point. And his setup strategy for qualifying, where he went for the higher downforce setup compared to Max Verstappen, kind of really cost him, didn't he? Because he was a bit of a sitting duck on the straights to both Max and Ferraris of Charles Leclerc. But yeah, a really, really good job from him this weekend. And on to the 3 bad, and it's got to be the Williams team, hasn't it? They started 5th and 6th, their best starting position, and I thought they'd do really, really well here, as we've seen them do in Monza. Them nice long straights, but it wasn't to be. Whether they were really, really hard on their tyres, slipped back, and yeah, I'll be really disappointed they didn't pick up some points here. The only real positive from this result is that any of their rivals for that P7 didn't pick up any points either, so they'll go into the last race pretty much where they started this one. So you know, Abu Dhabi will be a tricky one for them. Good long straights there as well, but it's hotter weather conditions. How will they fare on their tyres there? Let's see. The second in the 3 bad is Zhou Guanzu. He's had a shocking weekend, hasn't he? He's beaten by his teammate in qualifying, and he had a poor race. He's just handsomely beaten all weekend, and he had a really, really poor race. Ran at the back. The third of the 3 bad is going to be the Haas. I thought they would go much better here, especially with the colder temperatures helping them potentially with their tyre deg. It wasn't to be. They had a really good qualifying, as we've seen. Pretty much mimicking Ferrari, aren't they? Really good over 1 lap, but not great in the race. Actually, the Ferrari proved them wrong and was much better in the race, but it wasn't to be for the Haas, was it? They really struggled. A DNF for Nico Hülkenberg and out the points for Kevin Magnussen after what was a start up a really promising weekend. And yeah, that's it. Next off, we go to Abu Dhabi next weekend, and that'll be the last race of the season. But Las Vegas has been fantastic, hasn't it? The race absolutely really delivered. The upside down pig circuit worked a treat. Not the most iconic circuit on the grid on the calendar, is it? But yeah, it just helped with really good racing. The drivers were able to follow closely. They stuck within the 1 second. Able to get into the DRS's zones and make passes. It wasn't like a breeze down once you got into the DRS zone either, was it? You had to make it work on the brakes. With the dusty and slippery track surface, it really made that really difficult with the colder temperatures. Yeah, I actually really enjoyed that race. You just could never know what you were going to get, were you? It looked like it might be just one racing line around here with it being so dirty offline, but drivers actually made that work. We've seen some really unusual passes, even not just down the straights, was it? Even in the sort of the faster, twisted turns, there was brilliant racing between the Alpine pair of Gasly and Ocon at one point. So we just got fantastic racing all the way throughout. Oscar Piastri coming from way back to 10th. He got fastest lap as well. So there was some really good racing, good results. It was, you know, it wasn't all lost on a poor qualifying and what we've seen in some street races, isn't it? Where, you know, if you fall back, it's really hard to overtake and you just get nowhere, and it's really quite frustrating at times. But no, it just really delivered. There was opportunities throughout. It did probably help that it's the first time we've been there and nobody really knew what was strategy next time out. You know, we're here for 10 years in Vegas, so it'll be interesting to see how the teams develop strategies and if the race continue to be as exciting as the very first one, because there's so much unknowns. But yeah, well done. It was a fantastic job. I personally actually really enjoyed the cool down car drive in the Rolls Royce. That was brilliant, wasn't it? It's a shame that they didn't keep on them as they were discussing how the race went between the top three. That was brilliant. The podium, probably not the best podium in the world. I think that belongs to Monza, but it was, yeah, overall a great show, I think, apart from what happened in Thursday. But qualifying yesterday was really good. The race absolutely delivered. You know, action all the way through to the end on the last lap with a pass for P2, and that wasn't just for that. There was action throughout, wasn't it? It was so close. George Russell got past Ocon, even though it didn't count for much, into fourth. He was getting a 5-second penalty that dropped him back. So, you know, there was a lot going on all the way throughout, like I said, with almost every team, every driver, and yeah, fantastic weekend of Formula One racing. Looking forward to it next time and next year, and see how any different things that come up from there. But yeah, fantastic. Off to Abu Dhabi we go. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe and comment as always. I'll see you in the next video.